more we realize that people living with dementia have value.
As their memories fade, life experiences come back in vivid detail, one brush stroke at a time. It's a special place where young minds can imagine, believe, and find inspiration.
The stories that we're telling are stories around universal, fundamental qualities of being human.
It's to create a third place for people to hang out.
Once dark and unpleasant, back alleys are suddenly making quite an entrance. These stories and more, next on CityStream. Hello, I'm Nicole Sanchez. Welcome to CityStream from Seattle Children's Theater. It's a place of wonder that has sparked the imagination of young people for 44 years. SCT is now North America's second largest resident theater for young audiences. In addition to main stage productions, it offers education outreach and an on-site drama school. More on that in a bit. Many people use art as an expression of the world around them, but for those suffering from memory loss, art can also provide a look within. As dementia makes it harder to remember things and communicate, for some people, they're able to share precious memories through art. Julia Blackburn loves her time at Elderwise.
It's sort of like you're free to do whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about whether it's perfect or not, and that's great. You know?
The North Seattle nonprofit in its 21st year offers programs for people with memory loss. Seniors here like to socialize, share meals, take field trips, and paint, which is a big hit with this group.
I want to see how many stars are still in the sky. We have our adult day program, and that's the best. That's the heartbeat, the laboratory of all of our work, of facilitating community and being in gracious space together.
Julia is one of 7 local artists from the Elderwise program whose work is being displayed at Seattle City Hall in the Anne Falk Gallery. The exhibit, called The Artist Within, is produced by the Art of Alzheimer's. It kicked off in mid-January with a reception attended by several of the artists.
It is such an honor to be presenting the art.
It's beautiful. I like the colors, the green.
This is the second year for the exhibit. 49 pieces are on display and show unique views of the world from the artists who all have some form of memory loss. They sometimes paint things they remember, especially from childhood, like the landscape where they grew up. Art of Alzheimer's was founded by Marilyn Rakel. She was raised in a family where almost all of her relatives developed the disease. Her parents told her and her siblings what to do if they developed Alzheimer's.
Our parents told us, when we get Alzheimer's, walk away. We're not going to remember you, walk away.
It's so good to see you. How are you?
But Marilyn says something shocking happened when her mother, at age 89 with mid-stage Alzheimer's, started to paint. This is what she first painted.
And I went, oh my God, she's still here. Completely changed my life. I started sharing her artwork with friends and family, and everybody was always like, oh, this is fabulous. We had no idea.
The paintings enabled her mom to continue to communicate with her family. Marilyn says it was like a window into the thoughts and emotions she could no longer express verbally. She loved color and would sit looking out the window and watch cars, calling out the colors she saw, the ones she could still remember. This is what inspired Marilyn to create the Art of Alzheimer's.
How old are you?
Oh, just 25.
The more we realize that people living with dementia have value, the more effort and resources we will put into the opportunities for them to live valuable and creative and enriched and connected lives.
A grassroots effort called Momentia is doing just that, empowering people with dementia to stay active and engaged in their community.
A lot of times there's that idea, which is a piece of stigma, but that idea that the self is lost with dementia or Alzheimer's. But when you get to view a piece of art by an artist, which art in and of itself is a form of self-expression, it really counters that idea, and you recognize, no, there is still a self, there is a person there.
Then I'm going to rinse my brush in the water.
And for artists at Elderwise like Julia, sharing their art means the world to them.
It makes you feel like you've accomplished something, you know, and people like what you've done and things like that. So that's really, really fun.
The Artist Within will be on display at the Washington Athletic Club April 1st through June 14th. To learn more about upcoming shows, just go to their website, theartofalzheimers.org. Imagine and be inspired. It's a winning formula at Seattle Children's Theater. That's next as CityStream continues. Year after year, Seattle Children's Theater wins national acclaim for both its on-stage productions as well as its educational programs. So what is it that makes this place so exceptional? Producer Mimi Gann went backstage and got the scoop from a young fan.
I love the theater because it brings stories to life, and like when you read a book, you can imagine it, but when it's actually like alive in front of you, like it's actually real, it's awesome.
I think we have so much to offer here at SCT. The stories that we're telling are stories around universal, fundamental qualities of being human. So we spend a lot of time talking about love and compassion and empathy, and those are things we all need, whether we are 3 or 103. I think one of the most exciting things right now at SCT is we are expanding the platform of who is here at the theater and what stories are we telling. We have the opportunity to meet people when they're most permeable. And so I never take for granted what we can instill and offer in that moment of permeability.
My favorite play is The Journal of Ben Yoshida. It was like in the past where people neglected Japanese Americans, and so they just sent them off to camp, like they treated them like animals. And so if the children see it, they'll grow up and they know the history, and then they can change and tell everybody, and then everyone knows so they won't do it again. These musicals or plays are also really sad too, and like it makes me cry a lot. And there's also really happy plays, which makes me like cheer. I just like to cheer when it's happy. And it's like it's real life, like it's actually real.
The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane is based on the book by Kate DiCamillo. It follows the story of a China rabbit, Edward, as he is transported between families and different situations. And so this story is the journey of how we learn to love and who we learn to love and why. And it's one of those heart-expanding, heartbreaking, heart-fulfilling pieces that I think young folks will leave feeling inspired and dazzled and more curious about the world around them. And I think that's one of the things that social impact pieces do for children. They say even in the circumstances that you have, if there's something in your way, if there is a barrier, if there is a timidity, if there's something you don't believe in yourself, theater can offer the tools to say belief and imagination are the key ingredients to how you surmount those challenges.
The Journal of Ben Yoshida inspired me to try to change the world and teach others that the past is not always good and we should all be treated equal.
This is what SCT can be in its fullest form. We can be the space where we say everybody matters, your voice matters, your story, your history, where you came from. Those are all important. I do believe the saying is true that people will remember how you made them feel. The platform of SCT is carried by artists who represent the world that we live in, coming in and making real connection with our audiences. And that is the work I want to continue to do.
Just ahead, learn about current and future productions here at Seattle Children's Theater. We'll be right back. And we're back from Seattle Children's Theater, and we're joined by the managing director here, Kevin Malgacini. So nice to meet you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for being here today.
This is such a fun, special spot to be. Can you tell us about the stage productions you do? How many a year? How many are original?
Yeah, so this is a pretty typical year. On any given year, we'll have about 5 to 8 productions. This year we have 6 main stage productions here at the theater, and then another 2 productions that are touring out throughout Washington State. And every year we tend to have SCT world premieres on our stage. This year, Ghosted, our high school show that's touring throughout the state, is a world premiere. And next year we have a couple more SCT world premieres coming. We've done just under 120 world premieres in our 44 seasons.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot of new work. Yep, new work is a real cornerstone of our mission.
And I understand you have a really amazing education program. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Education is also a big part of our mission, so that's something we take really seriously here at SCT. Whether it's selecting plays that will have a really strong curriculum tie-in, so that when students come with their classes, they're able to then have workshops pre-show or post-show, or even just the drama school program, which happens year-round and is really big during the summer. Outreach program, which is taking theater and theater play into the King County Juvenile Detention Center, into the Deaf Women's Shelter, really out throughout the community. So education is, again, a cornerstone of what we do here at the theater.
Kevin, tell us, fun question here, what's currently on stage and what do you have on tap for the near future?
Yeah, this moment is a great snapshot of what's on stage here at SCT. So we have Ghosted, which is the high school tour, touring throughout the Puget Sound region. And then in our Eve Alvord Theater, we have Balloonacy, which is a delightful, just under an hour. It's pure joy. It's really for our youngest audiences. And then we have The Diary of Anne Frank opening on April 5th on the Charlotte Martin stage. So we really hit every age group right now, from our youngest audiences to really 9+ or so for The Diary of Anne Frank, and then high school out in the field.
Truly something for everyone of every age, young and old, young at heart and older at heart. Yeah. This is a little bit of a hard question, but if you had to pick one out of all of the productions, the time you've been here, which one is your favorite?
They have all been so great. I think if I had to pick one, I would probably choose The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. It's always great to see artistic director Courtney Sales work on stage, and that show in particular had really lovely mix of young people and professional actors on stage working together. It really highlighted the work of our in-house puppet master, Annette Mateo. That was really seen throughout the show. And it had a lot of music and liveliness in it, so that show in particular was really beautiful and special.
Sounds fun. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your time.
Thank you.
Back alleys used to be forgotten and filled with trash. Now they're becoming a place to build community. We'll show you next on CityStream. There's a bit of a renaissance going on in several local neighborhoods. When you think of a back alley, you probably think of a dark, undesirable place. But if it's been a while since you've been down an alley, you might be surprised. As Diane Duthweiler reports, back alleys are becoming Seattle's new front porch.
Alleys. One under the Pike Place Market hosts the Gum Wall. Nearby, a restaurant with no sign, just a pink door. And as our city grows more crowded, you will find more front doors, landscaping, and art in Seattle's increasingly activated alleys.
It's to create a third place for people to hang out and have community. So that space for that to happen is lacking in the U District.
These University District alley enhancements are private efforts. Others, the results of wide-ranging public and private partnerships.
This is called the Allegro Quinn Alley, and it's just sponsored by a number of people, of which U District Advocates is one part.
Seattle's transportation and utility departments helped coordinate improved surfacing, wiring, and waste disposal. A private landowner donated the space, designing the building for alley amenities.
One is looking at the lighting, which you'll see overhead better at nighttime, building a seating area, the bike storage is part of that, and then painting the surface pavement area so you can identify what is private and what is public.
Kate Robinson, co-owner of the alley entry Cafe Allegro, tends the plants.
So the planters, in conjunction with the University Temple Children's School, we have planted some native and non-native plants to bring some greenery and life to the alley.
Cafe Allegro now shares waste and garbage containers with a neighbor, ideas and invites too.
We've had the MFA program at the UW. They've done a couple of art exhibits here in the springtime. Yeah, we've had weddings in the alley. We've had funerals in the alley.
In the Chinatown International District, a Wing Loop Museum tour guide says active alleys are a return to our past.
People lived in our alleyways from a long time ago. Either you had a business nestled in the side of one of these buildings, or you had a residence. But the red door front is an actual apartment that's still been preserved for tours. So we're going to visit this one. This is apartment 6. This is the front room. It's pretty Spartan. This is an eat-in kitchen. You didn't have formal spaces.
Across the way in Canton Alley, a tribute to a community legend.
This is a memorial to Donnie Chin, who unfortunately was gunned down a few years ago. And the business is still sporadically, or I think part-time, it's opened on the weekends by his sister.
This passage with a private garden is the next International District alley targeted for upgrades.
I'm walking my baby back home.
In Pioneer Square, recent revamping projects are just north and south of Occidental Park.
In addition to the 2 alleys that were resurfaced recently, there is a 3rd alley that private developer is working on resurfacing, as well as adding retail and activation to that space. One of the really great ones we had was called the Alley Cat event, and there was a truck that came down with cats in it, and you could actually go and adopt a rescued kitten from the alley, so that was really cool. The long-term plan for the alleys includes making sure that there's not just one-off activation, that there's actually sustainable activity. So like you see behind me, the people in the alley, this is actually an outdoor cafe for Casco Antiguo.
If you didn't believe the part about alley weddings, witness these nuptials in Nord Alley, also home to Pioneer Square's back alley bike repair. Its slogan?
Right up your alley.
Owner Ben Rainbow says the upgrades took time, but his back alley front door is an attraction.
People are walking around and they walk, and then they come back and they reach for their camera and then they take their picture. That's like clockwork, it happens.
Rainbow says a nicer Nord Alley is like an outdoor living room.
So tonight we're co-hosting the first Thursday Art Walk with a group of artists here in Seattle known as the New Mystics. Music in the alley is always fun. The acoustics are really, really good.
So I love music. We were at one of the galleries above where the music was, and we could hear it in there. So yeah, it's not just walking through the alley, but you can hear it in different venues too.
We were just cruising around, kind of checking things out. We just were commenting on how the alleyway looks so much better with all the lights and how much more cleaned up it is.
No one is wedding tonight, But there is a cowhand.
All we know is it said, find the cowboy in the alley.
Yes.
Leading a scavenger hunt.
So this is all extra storytelling around the show we've got opening, or the show we've got right next door. Prizes for everybody at the end.
It's just another level of stirring people's imagination.
This space may look tiny, but it creates a place where people know on a map, I can go there and hang out while I'm waiting for a friend, or it'd be a cool place when the sun's out.
We're kind of like a living laboratory to what can work in an urban environment if people actually work together.
A benefit of the growing makeover trend, curators say the more people who use the alleys, the safer they become. And we'll be right back. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's show, coming to you from Seattle Children's Theater. If you'd like to learn more about any of the upcoming events or the many programs they have here, just go to sct.org. I'm Nicole Sanchez, and you know what? I'm going to spend a little time checking out the behind the scenes here in the prop room. We'll see you next time.